Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, in our last video we showed you how to create this hover effect with an image when you hover over it. It's got a drop down call to action with a nice little action button here. We had a question and somebody was asking, well, I like that, but can you do it from the side? Can it slide in? I said, no problem at all. So I've got some here. If I roll down a bit, we've got it sliding in from the side there. And it's exactly the same thing, we're just sliding it in from the side. So we're going to build these today. If you enjoy this video today, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way it tells me that I need to make more on this particular subject. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, I'm going to go down, I'm going to create another row below this, little green button for a row, blue for a section. I'll use 3 columns like I did before, it really doesn't matter, whatever size you want to do it. I'm going to use the call to action module. This will work with any module, but I'm going to use the call to action because it's already got the button built in. Okay, so there we have it. I'm going to leave it pretty much like it is because I've got nothing real to say. Obviously put in your title here, put in what you want your button to say here. As you can see, or as you can't see, there's no button down there. Button won't show up until you put a link in. And down below is the content, and like any other text content module, you can align it left, right, add links and media however you want. I'm going to leave mine just like that. I will roll down to the link below. We're still on the content tab, and if I just put a link in here, I'm just going to use a hashtag for example, you can see the button shows up. Now if you've got a button in there with a link, best practice, if you're linking to your own website, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Down below this we've got the module link URL, which will link everywhere else on the module. And you can have separate links for the button and the module, or of course you can link them to the same place by putting the same link in there. I'm not going to put that in there today. Same best practices apply for the module link target. Okay, well I'm going to actually take the background away for a moment and we'll lose all that text and button because it's white on white. Now it's still there, but you just can't see it because it's white on white. Now what we're going to do, the way these things work is the actual image is residing in the column that the module is sitting in. So what we need to do is go and find an image that we want and put it in that column. So we need to go into the row. I've got a row with 3 columns, 1, 2 in the middle, 3 on the right. So I'm going to go into number 1 here. Not going to use a link because I really don't need it for this. Background is where we put our image in. So I'm going to hit the background, still on the content tab on this one. You've got color, gradient, image or video if you prefer. I'm going to add an image. There we are. Now everything's showing up because we've actually got a background in there. Okay, what we've got to do now is push this module. If we want it to come in from the left, push it over this way. If we wanted it to come in from the right, we'd push it over this way. I'm going to do the left example today. But if we push it over there, you're still going to be able to see it. So I don't want to see it. So I'm going to turn the overflow off while we're still in our column. And the overflow is anything that comes outside of this column is called overflow. And if we change it to hidden, we won't be able to see it. So that's what I want to do today. So I'm going to go over to the advanced. I'm going to go to visibility, and we've got horizontal and vertical overflow. I'm going to change both of those to hidden. You know, you might think, well, why do we need to change the vertical because we're not going up and down? But you're going to find if you offset this module over here, you're going to end up with a scroller, you know, a little scroll up and down thing on one side if you don't do both. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay, so we've got that bit done. Let's exit out of our column, exit out of the row. Let's go back into our module and push it over to where we want it. So I'm going to go into the module, go over to design and spacing, and over in the left margin, which is this over here, I'm going to give it a negative value of quite a high value so it pulls all of the content over to the left. So I'm going to say -400. Obviously you do what works for you in whatever style you want. And we're going to offset that with some padding on the right hand side, which is this side, to make it appear that it's the same thing. And I'm going to use a little bit more for the padding. There we go. And we've got our image back to the size it is. And the reason I'm putting all that padding in, A, it'll maintain its shape, and B, if we don't put padding in, there's nothing for people to hover over to bring it back. Okay, so that's great. Now when we come back, we've got a difference of 50 pixels. We've got to remember that. Common to most Divi modules, if you hover over the dark writing here, you'll find a little arrow. That enables two little tabs right here, one for a desktop, which means when your mouse is not on it, and one for hover when your mouse is on it. When it's hovering over it, I'm going to reset that to 0, and we've still got that padding, so it's gone crazy here because it thinks it's got 450 padding on the right hand side there. So I'm going to do the same thing with the padding. I'm going to hover over, hit the little arrow, and for the hover state on this, remember there's a difference of 50 pixels, so I'm just going to put the difference in, which was 50. That should bring it back to where it was. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, to my eye, that writing's still getting a little bit lost in that background image there. It's sort of, you can read it, but it's not really easy. So I'm going to put an overlay on that background to make it a little easier to read. We still want to be able to see the image, or at least I do. So let's go into the content and background. So again, I'm going to go up to the dark writing, hit the little arrow. I'm going to grab the hover state for this, and I'm going to add a background color. There's color, gradient, image, or video again. So I'm going to just add a color. I'm going to add a simple black. As you can see, that's disappeared. It won't be there when we're not hovering over it. But for me, if you want to do that, that's fine. But for me, I like to see as much as that image through there as I can and still be able to read the writing. So I'm going to left click on the color itself, and this little slider here is opacity or transparency. I'm going to bring that down to where I can see enough of the image, but I can still read that writing nicely. Something like that. Obviously adjust yours to how you wish. Okay, well this is all going to work now, but it's going to work kind of quickly. So if I save this and demonstrate that, we'll save our draft, publish if you're ready, exit the Visual Builder. If I go down there now and hover over this, there we go, it's working. But for me that's kind of a little bit quick. It's not too bad. But for drama, I tend to like to slow these down a bit. And you may want to just leave it like this, in which case do. I mean, that's still going to work, and that's a nice effect. And any way you hover, it's going to do the same thing. But if you do want to slow it down, I'll quickly enable the Visual Builder and show you how. Now let's go down. Now, because we've offset this module, so it's over here somewhere, with the Visual Builder you may have trouble getting to it because it's sort of over here and it's hidden. If that's the case, hit the little purple button down the bottom. We'll go to wireframe mode, this little icon down to the left here. And there it is right there. And to slow it down, hit the little cog to go in it. Once you're in there, you can switch it back to desktop or whatever view you prefer. And we're going to go over to the Advanced tab, down to Transitions, and here it is, Transition Duration. The default's 300 milliseconds, which is what it's on at the moment, just under 1/3 of a second. I'm going to up mine to say 800 or 850 even. You can type in a value, use the slider, and you can increment up and down with the little arrows to the right hand side here. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as they put their mouse on it. Speed curve I tend to want to use for these hover effects is ease in, ease out. It sort of eases in, then when they take the mouse off it eases back out again. But again, that's entirely up to you. These are all slightly different. Some will work better than others in certain situations, so test them out and make up your own mind. So there we have it. We should be good to go. Now we've just slowed it down to 850 mils. So let's save this again. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's exit the Visual Builder. Go on down. And there we have it. It's a little more graceful to me, but of course that's entirely up to you. And of course when they hover over the button and click on it, it'll take them wherever they want. So there you go. I hope that's answered your question. Yes, you can slide it in from the side really easily. If you wanted to do it from the right, just reverse the settings from left to right and you'll have it doing that. And again, same with the one that we did the other day. If you watch that video, if you want it to come up from the bottom, just reverse the top to the bottom of what we did with the spacing there. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, like I said, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.